Welcome back to Majestic Bonsai. Today we're going to look at a cottonwood, and it's a cottonwood tanuki, and we're just going to do some maintenance on it and set some structure. So, as usual, seems like that's pretty much sums up most of bonsai, unless you're repotting. So let's get into it. I want to start using this as the new apex leader. The reason for that right now, but as you look at the tree, you can see it comes up kind of at a slope, but almost, it's not quite straight, but it doesn't have as much interest as this piece here, I think, can give it. And as we look at that, it goes this way and then it kind of veers off to the right. I think that's a better start. So we're going to go that route, and eventually we'll develop that. And unless it gives us something better down the road. In which case, nonetheless, you're still developing it and refining. So let's go ahead and get rid of this piece. And there it is. So that leaves this one here. That's going to be our new apex leader. Hopefully that's a little bit easier for you to see. I'm going to pause the camera now just to do a prune, or basic prune, outline prune as I'm going to call it. And then we'll come back. Okay. Okay, so we got the basic outline done from this standpoint. So one of the things I like to do and focus on is finding what I want to be the current apex. Now that might be one that's been pre-existing and around already, or that could be one that's a new one, as I just did here in this demonstration. The reason for that is because I believe this gave me a better apex with more shape to it, therefore more interest to it, which catches the eye. From that point, once I decide what's going to be the apex, in this case this piece here, then from there I like to do my outline according to that piece. Now let's say that we had an apex that was like it was over here. If I went off of that as an outline, it would be completely different form and shape. So that's what I'm doing, is basically from whatever is the current apex, making that outline off of that point, which is here. So now let's go back through, and I'm just going to trim up some of these branches that are trimmed so we don't have these stubs sticking out. And then we'll decide if anything else needs to be pruned out for refinement. Sometimes you will see me minimize the leaves, such as something like that size. I'm not going to do that this time though. If the growth is really heavy, you'll see me do that for sure. I'm going to prune this leaf because I've already kind of marked it. This one's straight across, so I don't want that. That doesn't look very natural at all, so I'm going to go ahead and prune that one just so it looks more natural. There, you can see now the difference in that. until you got some of these leaves here that, frankly, I think they were burned this spring. It was bizarre weather. We had cold and wet, and then sometimes we had some heat that was uncharacteristic and didn't give the plant enough time to adjust. So that looks a little better. Now I need to decide if there's anything else I'm going to be removing at this point. As you'll hear me say, I like to try to be patient with the plant, let it show me what it's going to do, give me an opportunity, or give me a branch that it puts out. For instance, back here, I don't know if you can see this, I got this coming up to our new apex. But right here, I got a branch coming straight out. It's kind of coming down and out. That's perfect. But I can tell you right now, I've got this one right here that's coming straight up. It's intersecting and in the way. Offers nothing as well. It's just straight up, no interest at all. So it's a good time to take that out. I'm going to just come down to this leaf growth here. I think that's a good spot. And we'll take that out. So now we'll allow that to grow out potentially. We haven't lost really anything, but we're allowing this to have room to come out now, to grow. And actually I'm pretty excited about that little branch. That's going to be a nice one. It pays just to be a little patient. I like to work with the plant, not always make my way on it or what I want out of it. I don't like to force that on the plant. Sometimes I will, but as a whole, as a rule, kind of like wiring, I try to be patient with the plant, let it show me what it wants to do. So now we've got this one. It comes up, comes over, gives us some visual interest. It's true that this is straight up too. It's generally not what we want. That's very youthful on the tree. But eventually it'll give us growth, maybe another branch here that'll come out over here and we'll use that, something like that. But for now, we're going to go with that, and in the future, eventually, we will refine that more. And that's just the constant process, right? Prune, adjust it, refine it, and that's about it, right? Always constant flow that way. I'm really tempted, to take this piece here off down to that. I'm going to wait till this grows out a little more, and then I'll do that. Same with this. I'm not super fond of this being right here in the way, growing straight up. I'm going to wait, I think, until maybe it's just got a little more growth. Although I say that, I'm going to clip it here in a moment. I don't like the way that's coming straight out. It's just very youthful. As well. Just take this down, I think. Try to turn it so that you can see. Take that down. Take that down. I'm going to take this down as well. Definitely has a tendency to want to go straight up, so. Take this one down a little bit. Now, in me cutting some of these pieces that I've left, like this one here, it's straight up, as you can tell. I cut a piece off here that was up further. Basically, I did that because it doesn't block this. Hopefully, by me cutting it, it'll send some energy down below. Yeah, and give me something more to work with. But that's it for now, I think. I don't want to take, obviously, too much off or everything. But we have set some new structure for this. And, yeah, we'll just see what it brings us on the next time. And you know, if every time you work on these, it gives you a branch like this one here coming out, maybe based on because you did cut it above and now it sends that energy below, it's worth it every time. You know, so if it doesn't look perfect, don't give up. Don't be too critical about it. It develops, and that's what we have to be patient with. Allow it to develop and work with it. Now I'm going to try to focus in a little bit on this structure here, and see if you can see that here already. Yeah, a little bit. I'm going to try to focus in on it though, and you'll see. I'll show you something interesting. Adjust this a little. All right, I'm going to try right there, and see if I can get a little closer. Yeah. Now if you'll notice that bark right there, this bark is blending. One thing that's doing is it's developing bark, so it's starting to show some maturity. Usually you don't get bark showing up for some time, perhaps quite a few years later. The fact that this is actually developing bark now in such a short amount of time is really impressive to me. The other thing that's impressive is this being a tanuki. One of the cool things about it is there's a blending going on through here that is matching very well with the dead wood. Now let me see if I can show you a little bit here. Let's work down a little more. Let's see what we see here. So obviously you see the dead wood, and if I turn this, you'll see that it's blending in there with that dead wood quite well. Let's turn it back this way. It may be harder for me to show it than I was intending. But I do like the root structure on this. I mean, check that out. If that isn't cool, I don't know what is. Right? And then backing out a bit. This dead wood that it's blending with, it's a really nice piece, right? So this is a young piece too. Like, I only did this, like, what was it? I think this is the second year. Second year of making these two grow together, the dead piece and the live becoming one, right? That's the essence and beauty of tanuki. And until eventually you won't be able to tell the difference. I love the way that this juts out here. The root structure is pretty cool. And I love this over here going up to this space here that's all empty and hollow and dark. I mean, that's just really, to me, it's spectacular. And you know, with time as this develops in the next 3 to 5 years, when you won't be able to tell the difference between the two and we develop pads on it, you know, bringing it out, it's just going to be a phenomenal tree. So anyhow, tanuki's a favorite thing I like to do, and some purists don't like it. They think it's cheating or whatever. As long as you're honest about what you're doing and not misleading people, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a great way to do bonsai. Have a very aged-looking tree right away, and as you perhaps have heard me say in the past, it is, to me, one of the highest forms of recycling, if you will, because you've recycled a dead piece, you've put this live piece together with it, and they'll grow together. Yeah, so very cool, and something to be, I think, to be practiced and enjoyed. So that's it for this one. Let's give you the spin about here. Am I zoomed out enough for that? No. And I apologize as well. I am going to try to get a mic sometime soon, I hope within the next month. And that way you'll be able to hear when I'm not so close to this phone. You'll be able to hear me better. So this is the spin around, the leaf in there. That's about it. So sometimes I debate whether or not I'm going to put something on video and show you guys. To me, it's really about sharing. I've had lots of times in the past when, before I was actually videoing things, and I wasn't sure anybody would want to see it anyhow. But I think it's nice to share the development as I go and show you how these trees are progressing. It's not miracles overnight. Granted, maybe if I was doing more wiring and stuff, maybe it would be more apparent that way. But the approach I do, I tend to believe is less stressful on the tree, and that's kind of what I'm going for. It's I like to show some respect to the plant as much as possible, and I just kind of go with it this way, a little more natural approach. So, like I said, lots of stuff I could, not video, and then I just consider it, a loss that if maybe I'm doing stuff and you're not getting to see it. It's just kind of nice to see maybe a little bit of what I do. I did do some stuff earlier today that I didn't show, but I have found with the public a lot of times, if it doesn't look pretty cool with its form and shape, a lot of people just don't seem to be able to picture what it's going to look like. They don't seem to be able to picture the promise of the future of it and see, that a tree has promise or what it can be. They don't seem to have that ability to foresee that. And so if I post that, a lot of times it's just videos that don't get watched much, or people don't appreciate. So I'm trying to show ones that seem to have a little more maturity, or that I think people might want to see more. But there's no guarantees on that. So I do have upcoming an oak I'm going to be doing. It's pretty cool oak. It's got a trunk on it that's huge, and it's what I'll call an urban Yamadori. And basically the background on this other tree I'm going to be showing next time, probably maybe tomorrow. It's a tree someone had discarded. They were throwing it away, getting rid of it, and I saw that it had the potential for life in it, even though there was not literally one branch on it. There was not anything on it, but it still looked like it had some life in it. So I brought it home and repotted it up, and if I get a chance, hopefully I'll do that tomorrow, and you'll see that. It has such a beauty to it. I think it's going to be a beautiful, amazing tree, but we'll see what I get to tomorrow. So next week's going to be real hot, so I don't know that I'll be doing too much next week. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, well then, hopefully we'll see you with another video. All right, take care. Bye-bye.